I was thinking about the times this morning as we worshiped where the Spirit of God is likened to a mighty wind. Like a rushing mighty wind, he came. And that made me think about yesterday. Oh, I don't know how you felt about it. I hated it. I am not a winter person. And yesterday was one of the few days, thank you, Jesus, that it has felt like winter. And one of the things that made it feel especially wintry for me is when I would step outside the door and that 5,000 mile an hour felt like wind that was about 500 degrees colder than the actual temperature, I exaggerate a tad, slammed into me and cut through me like, just made me hurt from the inside out. I don't like winter because of that. It makes me hurt. But the thing is, some people love winter, and they may have just been like, oh, this is amazing. But nobody stepped out their door in the middle of that wind and didn't react. You had to react one way or the other. Oh, this is brisk and wonderful. Or, I'm going back inside. But you had to react. When that wind hit you, and Jesus was like that. Some of us can walk through the world and be completely alone in the middle of a crowd. We might be partially invisible. People might be really apathetic towards us, but nobody was apathetic about Jesus. They either embraced him, loved him, followed him, sought after him, or they rejected him and hated him and despised him and tried to tear him down, but you had to react. You had to react because the Spirit of God was on him to heal the sick and free the captive and restore the brokenhearted and do all that we were supposed to do and couldn't. As he walked through this earth, God himself wrapped in flesh like a rushing mighty wind. He walked through Galilee and people had to react. He took our place on that cross. Died in that pivotal moment where the cross becomes the central theme of the entire creation of all time. And even those who may not have ever heard the gospel have seen a cross. Most of them, a lot of them. And you can't be apathetic about it. You can pretend to be apathetic about it, but you can't. You have to react. Embrace what he did and accept what he did, or say, no, this isn't my... No, I was not made for winter. And reject it. The difference is Jesus doesn't make you hurt from the inside out. He heals those hurts. He restores our soul. He's the warmth of that sun and the wind stilling when you step out there and you go, oh, okay, there is something that makes it worth being here for. He gives abundant life. And he rose from the grave and he gave us his prize and he gave us life. And then he left so that the Spirit could come and make his home within us. And the Spirit comes like a rushing mighty wind. You just can't get away from it. And the sad thing is, the only people that can be apathetic about the Spirit of God are his people. You realize that? We're the only ones that can be apathetic. Everyone else has to make a choice. Every time they're drawn, every time they're convicted, every time the Spirit blows across them, they have to react, embrace and come, or say no. That's a choice every single time. And really, we have the same choice, but we can kind of go through life like, I already got it. It's all good, and become apathetic. But Jesus wasn't apathetic about us. He wrapped himself in flesh, and that couldn't have been real comfortable. A lot of times I'm not comfortable in my skin, and I didn't spend eternity past in the glory of God speaking creation into existence and then shrinking myself down and wrapping myself in flesh. Let's not pretend we don't feel the wind. Let's stay tuned in to what Jesus would have us do, and then react when that wind hits us and say yes to the one who called so that he could give us life. The one who died so that we didn't have to.